Yeah, I'm actually going to do a retreat, a Joe Dispenza, like 7-day retreat in Cancun of all places.
That's going to be
at
awesome.
the end of January. So I'm looking forward to it. It's like intensive meditation and,
Dr. Joe's great.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, I love him. Personally, he's like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So Dr. Joe is like, if I'm talking with somebody and they're like first getting introduced to these concepts and things like this, he's somebody that I will actively be like, hey, you should check out Dr. Joe Dispenza. And the reason I say Dr. Joe is Dr. Joe has this beautiful way of explaining these concepts using science, so your analytical thinking mind can allow these concepts to soak in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And he explains the mechanism and how things work and stuff. But at the end of the day, you have to practice it in order to know it. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's just hearsay.
I don't know. It's the type of thing where like the science acts as a permission slip, so you allow yourself to dive deeper.
Absolutely.
And then you go deeper and deeper, and then you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, what lets you jump off the diving board is know the water isn't solid.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's a way for those, scientists, those very, I need the math, to people to kind of find a digestible way to begin to dabble with these concepts.
Yeah, and experience them.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the biggest part.
Yeah, because the truth is we always use these. We're always working in the field of this, but we just because we didn't get the results we wanted is because we were putting the cart, like I always say, in front of the horse rather than the horse in front of the cart. Now, so we go into what we call the quantum field, which meditation stuff brings us there, and then we come in the physical world. It produces the world in which we imagined. But a lot of times we're so focused on the outside world, and we get reflection back.
And that reflection, we believe it's very real. And so this like hardened, reality that we're experiencing.
Well, it feels real, but it's just a replication of what we've already done. That's why even a lot of what we do and go over, it's not that it's bad, it's just redundant. And the redundancy of life, like how much pizza can one eat before they're tired of pizza? And that's what I'm
still
trying.
Yeah.
I
eat pizza every Friday.
Mike's not a quitter. He's like, dude, Frank, that's a bad example.
I'm not a quitter.
Yeah, that's a bad example. Right?
That's funny. No, that's a great example.
Yeah.
It's
but
never
again, like
get old.
we talked about last week, stepping into the unknown, which generates excitement, and then when you actually experience the excitement, joy is what is the after effect of that, or the byproduct of that. And that's really what it's about. So, and one of the things, like, I've mentioned this before, and to some degree, meditation isn't necessary in order to live on this planet. It's not. But it's a great tool if you want to control the world, the outside world in which you live and how you experience it. It really is an amazing tool. Again, I use it every day. I know Mike does. I use it several times a day, depending on if I want to keep that ride going. And that's why I'm excited about doing this. It's kind of their master class, if you will. It's a 7-day full-on meditation, like all day long.
And that's going to be great.
My head's going to blow up.
Well, like I always tell people, too, who are just starting meditation, because the biggest thing is everybody will say, oh, yeah, meditation sounds so great. I wish I could do it. That's what everyone says, right? They're always like, I sit down and I just can't. My mind's all over the place. I don't know. It's just not for me. And that's not true for anyone out there. So, that's like trying to surf a wave and falling down twice and saying, hey, just surfing's not for me. No.
Or not even going in the water and saying you can't surf.
Yeah. It's very this is something that you got to just practice at. You can't sit in front of the computer and play Beethoven.
And but don't worry about
your first week.
You won't get bit by a shark if you meditate.
Yeah, but so that type of, hey, it's just not for me, I tried it. You'll get past that. You'll break through that.
Yeah, and also too, like even with this show here, if people are tuning in and listening, they're already on the fence. Mm-hmm. That's why with this information, you never go up to anyone and just reveal it, because if someone's like, I can't meditate, they're right. They can't, because you can't go into a state of meditation with that mindset. Obviously, I'm assuming the people we're talking are already on the fence. And, experiencing meditation, even if you only do it for a minute, just breathe in and breathe out. And just notice the body change. Because what you're doing is you're allowing thought to pass by you. You don't stop it, but you're not gravitating or grabbing onto it. Because thought will create an emotion. Actually, when you have no thought whatsoever, you allow thought go by, you notice the frequency of your body changes. It's a natural state. So when we get quiet to the outside world, in that place, that's where we want to create the imagination. Not when I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated if my imagination will just make more frustration. I can only, whatever state I'm in, I can only produce what's in that state. So whenever I go into my imaginative thought, I make sure I'm in the right state. And I know when I'm not in the right state, and I'm okay with that. I just know how to get into that state. And meditation takes you to a neutral place. And once I get to that neutral place, then I explore within the field of my meditation in my imagination.
And when Frank says not in that neutral place, and you feel yourself kind of fighting your mind, the only way is to accept it. You can't think your way out of it. You can't toil and wrestle with the head. Oh, I shouldn't be thinking. No. You just have to simply accept it. And then as you loosen up and relax and sink in, it's in that you become in the neutral state. So if you feel yourself, getting riled up or any of that type of feeling, you have to accept it. You have to go, okay, I just need to accept where I'm at right in this moment. That's how you ease into it. It's not, okay, no, I just need to focus harder. No, this is the conditioning that we've experienced in Western society of work harder, grind, you got to hustle. No.
Yeah.
This constant grinding our gears is why we're getting so sick, why we get burnt out, all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
If we do not allow ourselves to relax and go with the flow, you won't experience your optimal health, mental well-being, all of this, guys. It's crazy how important it is to relax. Yeah. And the reason I'm using the word relax is it's a little bit different, more specific than let go. So let go sounds confusing to people because they'll say, how do I let go? I can't let go. When Frank and I say let go, we are talking relax. Whatever is going on in that moment, accept it in its entirety.
Yeah, and so people are like, well, how do I actually practically or pragmatically do that? And it's like, well, if you close your eyes, put some, nice music on, meditation music, all different type of frequency outputs of music, just to simmer the mind. And you just focus on your breathing in and breathing out. You're not thinking. Thoughts go by you. And then when a thought comes in, you grab it. It's like, oh, I noticed a thought. And then go back to your breathing. That will naturally settle you down to that relaxed state. You don't need to grab onto anything or let go. It's in the physical world when we use the monkey bar theory. But in the meditation, we're not grabbing or holding or letting go. We're just simmering the mind. And how do you simmer mind? By closing your eyes, for one. Shuts out all the visual stimulation. Put a nice piece of music on, perhaps headphones, that will shut out the audible frequencies around you, such as people walking around talking. And then you just settle down, sit as comfortable as you can. You don't have to sit in a lotus position in the middle of the floor. I don't seem to be able to do that. I sit on a couch. I am erect. My back is erect, and all of a sudden I don't even notice my body, and I just stop breathing, and it just feels good. And then the thought comes in. But the first, right when you recognize a thought, that is it. That's what we're here for. When I can recognize the thought and go back to my breathing, you're now in control of your body and your mind. That's all it is. To think you're never going to have thought come in is a misconception, misunderstanding. It's when you recognize the thought coming in and then you go back to your breathing, you're now learning to move on, to settle down. And then you have control. If I know how to get to that state, I have the map. I can do it any time. It doesn't mean you're going to get lost, but whenever I'm lost, if I'm dating myself, I open the glove box and pull the map out. And okay, here I am. This is how I get there. That's it.
I love that you.
That's why I have a map in my glove box.
It's all about the metaphor, guys.
Dad, put the GPS. No, we're doing it old school,
Old
kid.
school. We're using maps.
But yet I'm using my Bluetooth on my phone.
Right, at the same time.
The kid's looking at me like, you're nuts. Come on, doing old school.
But I love that you bring up breathing. And the reason is, like, number one, that's a tool we all possess. It's the easiest way to go in, out, and get that focus.
Well, think about this. Not to cut you off there, but
no.
All the attributes of life. Breathing is the first one. You can't go, on average, more than 3 minutes without it. You can probably go, 3 days without water. I don't know how long. Maybe 3 weeks without food.
Yeah, I think it's like 2-3 weeks without food, right?
Yeah, you can.
14 or 21.
But 3 minutes without oxygen. So breathing is the key to all this. Breathing is life. Breathing is the greatest medicine known to man outside of the physical body, which we suck in the oxygen and pull out the carbon dioxide. 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. So it's 3-3-3. I don't know if I would make it that long without a hamburger, but but you could.
So like when the reason breath is so important, like Frank's talking about right there, not only is that it the source, but you begin to see this throughout many different avenues. And what I mean by that is like how it's taught. So Frank and I are talking about breathing right now, in the sense when it comes to meditation. And then you'll have doctors who will introduce this, to people, who have high blood pressure, like Frank's saying, but from like a medical perspective. Okay, let's use breath work in order to do this. Then you've got like the military, and they use techniques, and they call it box breathing. And they teach these box breathing techniques to their SEALs, right? And so everyone puts their own little spin on this breath work to match your mental picture of what you're trying to achieve. And what I mean by that is like a doctor's like, okay, I'm going to take this to you in a health way. Frank and I are taking this to you in a mental stability, wellness, spiritual aspect.
Which is health.
Well, yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
But then you have the military who's teaching it in the sense of you're in high tension situations.
Which is health.
Yeah, which is health. Of course, this all is.
Yeah.
But you see how we're framing it differently? So the military, you're not meditating. We're not hippies. You're box breathing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You see what I mean? And like we do this to frame it for the mind of the individual who's viewing this so they can digest it. Because you go to a bunch of military trained, men and women, and you're like, all right, guys, we're going to sit down and meditate your chakras. You kind of lose people, or that so is the perception.
Probably not in this day and age.
Not so much, but you get what I'm saying.
There's so much evidence to it, but
absolutely. But like this is why we frame things different ways, and that's what Frank and I are talking about.
Yeah.
This is all how your mind needs to perceive it in order for it to sink in. And so take it from whatever way you want, box breathing, meditation, etc. It's all about focus. It's all about getting to that quiet place. It's all about quieting the mind. This is what everybody is talking about. And no matter what way you consume this, it doesn't matter. We just want you to get there.